We're the founders of Traffic Think Tank, and we're going to talk a little bit about some of the most common questions that we receive within the community. The first one that we've touched on a few times in webinars has been, what are some of the top skills that someone new coming into SEO in particular should be investing their time? Maybe we start with like the top 3 skills that a new SEO should have.
I think right off the bat, the ability to identify opportunities, specifically finding keywords that are not only going to be representation or be a good representation of exactly what you're trying to get traffic for, but understanding how to sort of dial into the competitive landscape and score opportunities. I think prioritization is a super underutilized, under-talked about skill.
Yeah, and I think that comes into like content, which we talk about a lot as well, and like analyzing that side of things.
I think second piece, really, link building has to be a focus for somebody coming in.
Bread and butter.
Yeah.
It's definitely the hardest.
Yeah. It'll take the longest, but like it's what's going to pay off long term, especially like after a site build out is done, all your core content's probably covered. Yeah, you're probably going to have more content drip in, but then like a big focus of the time and effort will be link building. So I think that'd span learning how to do that yourself, learning how to recognize when like a vendor is building garbage or not building garbage, like knowing the difference between basically when you're getting ripped off and not getting ripped off.
We have our tools channel,
important.
right, in Slack, where we go through all the different software vendors.
Well, I was going to say the link building channels, probably one of the most popular channels.
Definitely, ton of activity in there. So we've got link building, we've got keyword research. I think the other piece that is a fundamental part of the content that we have, the training, is around technical SEO. Right, and we've got content around more advanced side of things like log file analysis and all the way through as a beginner. But then we've also got like how to structure internal linking, how to get more with what you've already got on your site.
It brings up international SEO and like understanding like how to actually implement like a localized directory structure and href lang tags and how to manage international sitemaps. Like that's something I feel like we talk about with members all the time.
Which is actually a good segue into another question that we get a lot, and that is around launching a new website or a project, right? It's like,
every week.
Yeah. Every week, yeah. And you've done some of the early video series around launching a new website and like following the progress of this, right? So when you're launching a new site, what are some of the biggest considerations that you're thinking about, in particular, Ian, like for the resources you want to invest and what you should be tackling first?
So I think the keyword research piece up front is really important because that'll let you know like what is the total potential of this thing, right? And then once you kind of have your hands around that, you can make the call on how much am I going to build just to get this launched and out there and like see if it hits at all. And I think the biggest thing really that I see people run into, and like I've done it myself in the past, is like you just get so bogged down in planning the launch that like all of a sudden 7 months have gone by and you still don't have a live website. Like people,
the struggle is real with that.
My biggest focus is always comes back to trust, especially on new domains. Like anything I can do to build branded traffic. I think we almost always encourage any clients launching new brands or rebranding to like, even if they're not in a position, they don't feel like they're ready to run paid search from an acquisition standpoint, run paid search on your brand name. Do anything like run paid media, sponsor podcasts, especially in the crypto space. Anything you can do just to drive branded search and try to send some of those positive trust signals, I think is super important in the beginning.
Yeah, and I think on the resources piece as well, certainly something that I know a lot of our members get value from is, okay, I'm starting out, I kind of know what I need to do. I need someone who can help me with design. I need someone that can help me with content creation. And we have a lot of people that get recommendations on people they can work with. There's also a bunch of
a lot of the
business
templates though. Like I think like a lot of people have come in and if you remember, like we've gotten so many requests for, hey guys, I need to hire link builders. What should the pitch templates look like? So we made them
even job descriptions.
It's a perfect example. Or like people were asking about content audit templates often, so we built a set of templates for that.
Yeah, and then similarly, the third probably most popular thing that maybe I wouldn't say that we get directly asked a whole lot, but does get talked about a ton, is more around the business side of SEO. So it's one thing being able to do SEO really well. That helps. But then if you are part of a marketing agency, which we have a lot of members from marketing agencies, whether they're running it or whether they're not. We also have people in-house that are trying to go through the pitching process of bringing in vendors and
getting more budget to grow their teams.
Right, and that's a big piece that we talk about in Slack. So what would be some of the most popular themes that you think have came up around that people struggle with?
Project management. I mean, like every day, like people are constantly asking, how do I build and scale a team for link building, for content development? How do I work with outside vendors? I know I should be using VAs. How the hell do I do that?
VAs is a big one that comes up a lot, and training them up as well. Pricing is also another big one, right?
Yeah, there's a really good thread. Yeah, that's a pretty active thread. I feel like that gets circled back on probably almost once a month. Yeah, all the pricing discussions.
I think communication's the other big one. Like, how do I explain this to a client? My client sent me an email, asked XYZ. Like, how do I not word vomit a bunch of technical stuff back at them? Like, how do I explain it in a way that like a normal human is going to answer?
My agency pitch deck template's been downloaded a couple hundred times.
People will share like, hey, I'm thinking about, in like the agency channel, this happens a lot, right? You'll often see people like, I'm about to send this email to a client. It's all anonymized, like, can you all just have a little look at this and see if I seem like an idiot here or whether this comes across too strong? And it's open discussion. I mean, like, we get a lot of this, and I think that's one of the biggest value propositions that a lot of people in those situations, both in-house or whether you're an agency, right, is that you can just bounce ideas off the broader community. So I think those are probably the top three things that we talk about. There's a ton more inside Traffic Think Tank, lots of like content that we're continuously producing. If you'd like to learn more about the community and what we've got going on inside Traffic Think Tank, go and head over to trafficthinktank.com.